Hello everyone, welcome to Let's Go Take a Walk. My name is Rick. I've recently decided to install a solar panel on my 2025 4runner due to a trip coming up next summer where I'll be driving for 6 weeks. Now, my power needs aren't great, but I do want to be able to power a Starlink as well as phones and anything else overnight that might be necessary. So, without further ado, let's see if we can install a solar panel. Some of the equipment we'll be using: an RVZ Power 200 watt 16 busbar N-type monocrystalline solar panel. It is just one-sided. It's not bifacial like so many are these days. I already had the Jackery Explorer 1000 Plus, which holds about 1200 watts. We needed some wires to go with it, so of course I went out and bought a huge roll of wire. This is a Y connector that you use to run the two wires together, and then at the end, because the Jackery requires the specific 8mm, they have their own adapter that comes with the Jackery, which is nice. And then, well, there are a lot of other options available. I chose these BougeRV clamps to go put on the roof because they were relatively heavy duty and they are super solid and heavy. I want them to be able to hold this on here when I'm going 80 miles an hour. So we'll be using these as we go. Now, some of the considerations when I was selecting all this was the size of the roof rack, which is the factory roof rack that came with it. Now, you could go buy another one for $750,000, and there's some great ones out there, but I wanted to at least try this and keep it on the cheap for now. The crossbars give it about a 36-inch square inside there, so I knew I didn't want it to stick out front. So what I did was measure from right back here at where the tailgate comes up forward. How much panel could I get in there without getting a larger one? Now, there's way larger panels out there, and there's some great videos. Somebody installed a 400 watt panel that uses the whole roof, but I'm starting out on the light just to see where this goes. What do I choose? Do I choose 200 watts or 400 watts? 400 watts is going to take up the whole roof, but 200 watts is a reasonably small size that I can mount up there and still keep it without going out, hanging out over the edges, hopefully not hitting anything, all that can happen to it. So my Jackery has a built-in charge controller, so there's no need to install that. Though interestingly enough, I bought this in a kit, and I'll show a picture of it here online. The kit includes a small charge controller, which probably wouldn't do a lot, along with some accessories that might be usable for some of us. And some nice wiring, some plugs, stuff like that you can use, and you'll see that all in just a second. Now, my panel choice, I did a lot of research, and the Renogy Shadow Flux sounds like the big guy on the block at the moment. It does a really good job of shading, so when you shade a panel even a little bit, most panels, they almost shut off. But the Renogy Shadow Flux actually keeps on working to some extent, even with some shading. And when you're parked camping, you do get some shading here and there. Another choice that came up that I really liked, and I probably would have gone with, was the CalSun. It too was a 200 watt. Both the Renogy and the CalSun are 200 watts that I was considering. The CalSun also gets really great reviews, has some shading protection given the bus bars. But I thought, you know what? I'm not going to throw a whole bunch of money into this yet. Let me try this out. If I like it, then I'm going to go ahead and do some more. So I actually ended up choosing this one by RV Powzer, RVPOWZER, which you saw the picture up there. And it has some accessories with it. They had it for $123 available with this kit that comes in here, as well as a week later it was $103. So I ended up buying a second one. And now you're going to get to see me unbox the second one. It fits, I think it's going to fit pretty good. Maybe come out just about an inch or two from the front bar, which I'm okay with. But I think this is going to fit really well, but we'll see how it does. So here's the unboxing of this panel and everything that comes with it. did a lot of experimenting before I decided to go with this kind of panel. I went out on Marketplace and I bought 3 used house panels that were rated at 250 watts. But they fit the voltage that the Jackery could handle. I think mine takes between 12 and 60 volts. But I just wanted to play around. I'm one of those hobbyists who they get carried away and they want to check everything out, try it first. And for 40 bucks, 3 panels, it's actually been a fun experiment, and they work surprisingly well. They produce about 65% of what they would have been when they were new, probably 20 years ago. So this comes with some accessories. These are roof mount accessories that are used, like if you had an RV and you were going to drill right into it, you'd attach this to the panel like that, and then you'd screw these in, obviously the other direction, on top of the roof. I'm not using these because I'm going to be going 80 miles an hour, so I didn't want to take any chances with the kind of sheet metal-y ones. Comes with some tools. This is for putting together the connectors that go on the end of the cords. These are, at the end of these cords, you can add this connector and then you have a full one. I bought a few others that I'm using instead, but these do come with it, which is nice to have the extra wire in case you need it. This is probably like a 10 gauge wire. I've been using, this is probably a 12 gauge wire. I've been using a 10 gauge in the backyard when I'm practicing, playing around. But this is nice to have in case you need it. And the 10 gauge is probably overkill compared to what this is. So there you have those accessories. Oh, and more wires to hook up to the charge controller that came with it. I should show you that real quick. So this charge controller, there are reviews online of this thing, and it's kind of a extreme beginners. It might work for this panel and maybe one other. I'm not even sure because I have no intention of using it, but it's neat that it comes with it. Gives you a little idea of what they do. Comes with some instructions, and I did see one review that said it works okay. So here's the panel. So in the back you have a and a negative wire, probably positive on this side, negative on this side. They're wound together here, but they come with the connector, so you can connect right up to that adapter I showed you earlier, and I'll show you again. The panel itself, again, this is a 16 busbar N-type monocrystalline panel. And it's exactly identical to the one I showed you earlier. Probably go and clean off the sticky stuff off the glass so it gets the best power it can get. And we're going to be putting one of these on the roof of that truck. Now, to best show you how these things mount, this is the standard roof rack and crossbars that come with the 2025. So what you first need to do is to remove these covers on the ends. They just pop right off, pretty easy. And then you see you have this slot. It's got this squishy strip in it. This is ultimately going to fit in that slot, this T-nut. So what I'm going to do is remove this strip all the way out. And then once these are attached to the panel, they attach to the panel on this side and then up against the panel like so. This goes down, it screws down over it, tightens it on there with nice cushy grips, which is one of the reasons I like these. And then these slide into the slot, and then you tighten it down so it mounts right there. This right here might be noise suppressive, so I'm going to maintain it and probably cut it up into smaller sizes to fit in between. So once I'm ready to do that, I'll show you putting it on. But for now, I'm going to leave this right here until I get this measured out. But first I'm going to attach these to the panels. So I'm going to have to drill some holes in the panels because the pre-drilled holes are not going to come all the way to the front right here. Let me go get the panel so I can show you how it goes on. So once this is screwed up underneath right here, it fits up in holes that are underneath here. This has holes up here, but I want it to attach up here. So I'm going to drill a hole right here and then add this to it, and then you'll see how it slides right in there. I'm going to go all the way back as far as I can, so it is just right close to hitting the back tailgate. So it'll sit right there when it's complete. Due to the fact that the wires are in the front and this little thing right here will probably hit the bar, I'm going to flip it around and mount it backwards. Push it back as far as I can, center it, and I'm going to mark where I'm going to drill my holes. Now that I have it centered where I want it, I'm going to put a little mark where I'm going to put my hole. Now the hole doesn't go on the outside like I'm marking, it's going to go on the underside, but I'll show you that here in a little bit. Once I get the panel attached into this T-slot, I'll be able to move it back and forth to adjust it right to the center where I want it. And then we'll lock it down. So my next step in putting this together is to attach these brackets to the side of my panel. Now, this little T-slot, this is going to go in the slot upside down on top of my rack. So I have to attach this to here. In doing so, I'm going to have to remove this section right here, this pad that goes underneath here and protects it. And I'm going to do it, I'm going to put holes here and here like we did when we did the last section. So to do that, I'm going to use a speed square. I'm going to put one right here. And another right over here. And then I'm going to drill it out. Once I have that drilled out, then I'll be able to attach the brackets. Now before I drill through this, I don't want to go all the way through it into the panel. So I'll put a piece of wood behind it so I'll stop it, or hopefully stop it, as I drill through and put a hole in right up here. So it matches up where I was on the edge. Then I'm going to have to get this out of here. Then once you get this little screw out, you can see how this pad comes apart like this. And then this is going to go upside down on here on the side, and this will go upside down underneath. I've got a nice little rubber padding to protect it, and hopefully so you don't hear it rattling when it's on top of the truck. So let's get to drilling. It's aluminum, so it should drill pretty easily. I'm not trying to put too much pressure, it's already through. Sure does drill easy. Softer than the wood. There we go. That's all we needed. Now that we have the hole drilled out, we have to attach the bracket to the panel. So it has this matching rubberized where they come together. I'm going to put the small piece underneath here, and then the bracket side up like this. It has a little Allen screw that goes down and goes in there, and you screw it down in there and tighten it down. Now, in doing this, my practice run, I kind of stripped out my Allen bolt. The head's on it. I could probably work it out, but you got to tighten it down pretty good because you don't want this thing coming off when you're going down the highway. So if I have to, I'll go get more of these. You tighten that down, it locks on there, and then this, when we flip it over, goes in the channel in the rack on top of the car. I should note that the bottom of this section here is threaded, so that when you put this back on this panel like that, it's going to catch on the other side. Now that you'll have the brackets in place, we're going to flip this over and go up and mount it on top of the truck. And these little T-nuts will slide into the grooves on the sides of the edge of the roof rack. This is the front. For now, I'm going to remove these rubber strips right here. They're probably good for wind noise, but we'll see. Let me go ahead and pull them all the way out. I may put them back in there and cut them down to size so they fit in between the slots that my brackets have to go into. But you can see the slot where your bracket's going to have to slide down into here. With a little luck, these little T-nuts should fit right in there. There's the front two. Now we got to get these back two in here. So now you can slide it back and forth. I'll go ahead and tighten down the 4 screws once I get it centered, and then we'll do a little road testing. So BougeRV's kit comes with this teeny tiny little cute wrench, but I just couldn't see me doing it. It happens to be a 10mm, so out comes the sockets. Has that padded gasket right there, so you can tighten it down pretty hard and probably keep going a little further, but I don't want to strip it, break anything. I'm going to stop right there. So the panel's on there super rock solid, but now I have to figure out what I'm going to do with the wires. I'll probably end up taping them up to the underside of the panel until I'm using them, and maybe adjust it later. But I think this is going to work out pretty good, and I'll show you next how I'm going to run it down into the vehicle itself. Right here, coming off the back of the panel, are MC4 connectors, which are extremely common in the solar world. You can actually crimp your own and put them together relatively easy and inexpensively. I'm using all 10 gauge wire after it leaves the panel, so I actually have a really long piece of wire that I use for something else. I'm just going to use as a demonstration here so you can see an idea of how I'm going to run this. The MC4 connectors that come off the back of the panel go right into this extension cable that I've created, which right now it's really long because I use it for something else, but I'm going to cut it down and shorten it. This just all plugs together. And again, you can put these on yourself. They're easy to put together. You can buy all the parts online relatively cheap. They snap together and they're waterproof. So MC4 connectors. I'm going to run it after I get from here. I'm going to come down through this crevice right through here, and then it's going to come down through here, down along the edge, up underneath, and then I think I'm going to put the hole in right here through this. However, I am considering some other options. It might be better to do it up high somewhere. there's a lot of other holes and things in here to do it with. Now, once I've got that configured and done, this is the other end of that line, goes into an adapter, also MC4 right here. So this is that long line, goes to my another MC4 connector adapter, which has yet another adapter that goes in the back of my Jackery. So then this is where we plug in the solar right here. And that's how we're going to get our power. Right now this looks and feels really solid. Got it centered pretty good. I still haven't taken it out for a test drive. So we're about to go check that out and see how it does. So that wraps it up. The drive is good. Seems like there's a little bit more noise, but I'm going to put that plastic thing back in the channel, see if that dampens it a little bit. The cords will probably bounce around a little bit until I have a permanent solution and get them taped up underneath, but it's rock solid. It's staying on there. I don't expect to get much right now. Right today it's 3 in the afternoon. The sun's at a way too low to get, if I was lucky I'd be getting 40 watts out of it. But in the summertime, which is planned for, perfect conditions, I could pull 160, 180 watts out of that when the sun's at noon. So it could definitely help supplement, maybe run a Starlink and some other things. So I'm excited to try it out, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm gonna probably do some further modifications in the future. I might try and figure out a way to hinge it so I can tilt it if I'm ever parked during the day, but it has to be quick and easy because I don't want to have to drag out tools to do it every time. But thank you so much for watching. And if you enjoyed this video, take a look. I have another video here for removing the second row seats out of the 4runner. And like and subscribe. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.